Before trouble started with your boyfriend, then fiance,
Yes.
how did he treat you?
I think everybody was swept off their feet when they first meet anybody, right? It was amazing. It was, again, he didn't live in the same state with me, so it was a long distance thing. And every time I got picked up at the airport, I had a little bitty gift. You know, it could be a small teddy bear all the way to some flowers. But every time, you know, we did anything, I felt like a queen. And I think because of the way I grew up, I've always made decisions all of my life, and he allowed me to relax, and he made all of the decisions. Being a single mother, I had to make decisions for both my son and him all the time. So when we were together, it was just me relaxing. Again, being in a different state, I didn't have to worry about household chores. It was just fun. It was relaxing. I felt like a queen. I felt like a princess. Everything was what you would expect when you come into a relationship.
And so, at least initially, this guy was, you said a queen. I mean, he's treating you properly. There's no sign of any issues.
Yeah, and what's funny is because we are both in the fitness industry, we both ate the same, we both worked out the same. We were both into making sure we ate right at the right time. It wasn't a struggle in that. I had nothing other than when I was in Houston and he was in his state, there was some struggles of insecurity that would he give me, but in my mind it was just like, well, if we were in the same city, he wouldn't have these struggles, right? He wouldn't be insecure of where I was going or what I was doing. And at the time I'm a sales rep, and so evening dinners were required for us to go out with our, with different people, social events, networking events, and so insecurities would step in, but I got it. Like, he was far, far away and he couldn't be the man that he wanted to be because he was in a different state. So I just made myself think that, okay, we can fix it. How do we fix it?
So your Prince Charming turned out to be anything but.
I think he was a Prince Charming on the outside, but his core was completely evil.
And in hindsight, which is always 20/20, what were the red flags? What were the issues that you were seeing with him that was an indication that this guy could become abusive?
So when we weren't together, he would always call me on FaceTime if I were at home. Whether we were talking on FaceTime or not, it was FaceTime, and we would sit and watch a movie, would breathe. Again, thinking that if we were dating, we'd be in the same room. He would constantly call me, but I was just thinking, oh my God, he loves me. He's gonna call me all the time. It's
constant
constantly
attention.
Yeah, just a ton of attention.
Always wanting to know where you were?
Yes.
And that never bothers you?
No, and again, I played it off that was his insecurities, and for me to help him with his insecurities and for him to gain the trust within our relationship, I gave it to him. I answered the phone when it was appropriate. I texted him back when it was appropriate. I sat on FaceTime with him. Everybody has their own insecurities, and I played into his.
What traps do you now see that you would tell women to avoid?
Listen to your gut, especially women. We are all given an intuition, and the intuition's called from whomever your higher power is, your Lord, your God, your Buddha, whoever that is, right? Women are given intuitions for reasons, and follow that. Follow that, because all of the calls that you're given, all the text message and the attention you're probably wanting and needing and getting are some signs that I didn't even see. I mean, eventually I woke up to a small, very, very small room with cameras watching me 24 hours a day, and I had a tracking device in my car, and I had no idea.
So wait a minute. There were cameras in the room where you were staying with him?
Eventually all of this came up. My intuition told me to go and check his phone one night. So I checked his phone, and I opened it up, and the first app that popped up were cameras that were led to the house. So he had an app on his phone that he could see inside the house.
So he was checking on you?
I would say yes, only because there's cameras in the house and I'm only the only person in the house, right? And I started thinking back, I was like, well, the only time he would call me was when I was in the bathroom, and apparently there's no camera in the bathroom. So yeah, I had a tracking device put in my car because he said he wanted to change out the speaker, or change out the radio, and a tracking device was put in my car. And then I woke up one day seeing an app that he was watching me throughout the house, throughout the day.
How many times were you beaten?
3. I'm running down a street, and for some reason I went up some stairs and I flipped and I fell, and he got on top of me, and all I can remember is he was choking me. and I'm being thrown against a sofa and a lamp and everything's just flying. All I keep remembering is my arms are fully straight and I just keep kicking my legs out, like, just get off of me. And here's what's the craziest part is I can't remember being hit. Like, I don't remember the pain of being hit. I just remember I just need to survive. Like, I just need to get home. I just want to get home. 3 months of him courting me, gifts, calls, beggings, forgiveness, give him a chance. He's broken. He'll never do it again. Every word that you can actually find that every woman has heard that has been beaten can be put on that list.
And you stayed.
And I thought he changed. Again, for the second time. I jump out of bed and it's him chasing me all around the house, pushing and pulling and tugging and hitting me. And the only reason he stopped is because I stopped and I said my rosary. I stopped and I prayed my rosary. And he never touched me again.
Did you ever tell anyone what was happening to you?
So we only had a friend, a couple that were married, great Catholic couple, that knew about it. They were there at the first beating.
Did you ever tell family, friends,
No.
girlfriends? Never said anything about it?
No.
Did you ever consider calling the police?
I was ashamed. I didn't want to tell my girlfriends that our beautiful selves were amazingly unbroken and a piece of bunk. I didn't want to tell them this was fake because behind the doors he's beating me. I didn't want to tell anybody that. I was fearful. I didn't want to report it. I didn't want the backlash of it. And I think a lot of that is why women don't report it. It's one, they feel like they have nowhere to go and there's no one to help them because of the backlash that could happen because of who that person is and who we're not, right? And then you're going to judge me. Everybody in America is about to judge me. Everybody in Houston's going to judge me. It takes a strong person to open up and to be allowed in to know that what's going on. Because there's a whole lot of people out there, whether they're married or dating, that there's a lot of things going on behind those doors that none of us even know that our best friends are dealing with. So when I went to the women's shelter, I went to group therapy first. And I closed my eyes and I listened to all their stories. And I could place myself in everyone's story from the time that they were being hit, spoken to, pulled on, thrown around, and the words that were being spoken to them, I heard them. The only difference was the circumstances. That was it. What I learned about myself was I wasn't alone.